Welcome back to this World of Warcraft Let's Play. You're Sambo, and joining us as always is our wonderful Seraphis, the Worgen Mage. If you were joining us in our last episode, you might remember we came up here to the observatory where King Gen Greymane is. No doubt he wants us to do something dastardly against the Forsaken. You can see them out there in their blimp or their zeppelin. By the way, just speaking of falling damage, you might remember the other day we spoke about how there is falling damage in WoW, unlike DCU Online. If I was to fall off here, you can see it's quite a way down. I would be dashed on the rocks below. I would die. So be careful when you're in WoW. It's nothing like DCU. Oh, anyway, here we go. We've got a big telescope up here. He's got a good view. There's a lighthouse off in the distance. Let's see what he has to say.
My people have suffered so long. If only I could shoulder more of their burden.
Alright, he says, look what's become of Duskhaven. Look at what's become of the last safe place in Gilneas. Alright, looks like that was us looking through the telescope, I'd say.
Gilneas will prevail.
Gilneas will prevail. That's right, they will. We have no choice, Seraphis. We must move further inland. I don't like it one bit, but we're vulnerable here. Return to the stables below the manor. Let's get everybody on carriages and send them eastbound. I pray it's not too late. So we have to board a carriage below Greymane Manor. Right, so it looks like it's the big Exodus, and in fact the quest is called Exodus, I think. It is, there we go, let's have a look on the map. So yeah, it's, whoa, looks like we're going to have a big long journey. So you can see there, here we are at the Greymane Manor up to the west, and it looks like our quest hand-in is way down here in this new zone in the continent, or the isle rather, or the zone rather, of Gilneas. So I'd say we're going to go for a carriage ride, and just trying to remember what happened from when I played back in the release. I think that is what happens. And in fact, carriages become quite a big part of the game later on in other zones, I remember. In fact, I remember that zone over there as well that we can see. Yeah, I think that's one of the last zones, or rather last areas of this zone as a Worgen. I do remember that. Anyway, we need to get ourselves to a carriage. As we're heading back down through the manor, with the lovely sun rays there pouring in. Hello, hello.
What can I do for you?
What can I do for you?
What can I do for ya?
I got a bad feeling.
You should have a bad feeling because we're about to leave. Sorry, we're going to have to leave your homes behind. Alright, so now you can see this carriage up here. It has a mount icon when I hover over it, so obviously we're going to be able to get on. There we go, and we're off. It's pretty cool, isn't it? Get to have a bit of a ride in the old carriage. Get to see the landscape there. You can see it's all been devastated. In fact, oh, look at that. That was Duskhaven. That's where the centre of town was, the inn. That's all been taken underwater now as well. I didn't realise that. Oh, yeah, so look at the map. Originally it was way out here, then it got chunked off to here. Now it's come in even further. So now basically the entire town is gone. You can see the remnants of it there in the background. Really cool phasing technology. Here we are, King's Gate, we've discovered. So that's this here on the map. You can actually see the gate. We've got a bridge coming up. Whoa, and there's Gilneas City off in the background there. So we're starting to get our bearings now. Very cool, isn't it? I love the way the landscape changes so dramatically. I'd completely forgotten about that. The whole town of Duskhaven has gone. Look out, we're under attack. We've got some ogre ambushes. We haven't seen ogres in the game yet. That's them. I want to zoom me right out. Right, so here we go, the stagecoach crash site. And you can see that the landscape has changed dramatically now. Let's have a talk to the prince. Thanks for stopping, Seraphis. Our carriage got hit pretty bad. The one in front of us got it worse. Oh dear. So it looks like some of the evacuees didn't make it. Oh, and unfortunately this quest we're not going to be able to wear anything. You can see they're bright red, which means they're the wrong type of gear. Mail and leather, and of course being a mage we wear cloth only. So it says here the Ogres got 2 of our stagecoaches, this one and the one that fell into the marsh just north of here. I want you to head there and rescue any survivors while we hatch up a plan to deal with these Ogres. So we have to rescue 5 crash survivors at Halewood Marsh. So let's have a look on the map. You can see that that's north of us, directly north in a marshy area. Oh, and I can see a copper ore vein up there. But yeah, as you can see now, the landscape has dramatically changed. We've got these cool looking flowers, and of course Duskhaven is over there on the other side of those. Well, actually it's not anymore, and that's one thing, you can never go back to it. So, you know, make the most of it while you're here, because in this area, once you've gone through these zones, they're totally inaccessible again. Now, sadly, yeah, it looks like that copper ore node is way down below. We're not going to be able to get to it. I hate that. It's like taunting us. Money, money, money that we can't get. But look at that, here's one right here. Thank goodness. Get ourselves some bucks. Thank you very much. Right, so here we are into the marsh, and once again, absolutely love the look and feel of this zone, even though this is different to what it was like around Duskhaven. You can see now they've got the feel of it really cool. They've got rushes there in the water. It's raining. It's gloomy. It's fantastic. Right, so we're having to rescue these guys basically by killing the crocodiles that are attacking them. And there we go, you can see we rescued one of them that was tied up, attacking the crocolisk, as they're called in WoW. We can skin these. And you can see how fast... Oh, actually, I don't think we've done any skinning before, have we? Come to think of it, there you go. So you could see how fast that skin went. Normally it takes about 2 or 3 seconds to actually skin an animal, but because we've got this racial, now you may not remember, we've got one here called Flayer. Skinning skill increased by 15, and it allows you to skin faster. Talk about fast, it's basically instant. So we'll try that again in a minute. But there we go, Frostbolt to slow them down. The aggro is still actually on the villager, so that's good. And there we go, we've rescued her, and she'll disappear. Right, so when you're skinning, you do have to loot the mob first, but then you can see as we hover over the corpse of the swamp crocolisk there, the icon turns from a hand to a skinning leatherworking icon. Then we just right click and look at that, bang, 0.5 of a second to skin. That is a fantastic racial to have, absolutely love it. And if we look in our bags now, you can see we're getting all sorts of different things. We've got ruined leather scraps, and they can be used for leather workers, so it definitely pays to put them on the auction house. Plus we get this here, which is called light leather. Now, we aren't able to do anything with that. If we look in our professions tab here, all we can do is skin them. If one of our professions was leatherworking, however, we would be able to turn this leather into light hides, and we'd be able to use those hides to make things such as leather clothing. I don't think I've got any leather. Oh, there we go. So we've got a bloody leather boot in our bags there. We would be able to make stuff like that if we were a leather worker. However, of course, because we're just going to be gathering these and increasing our skinning skill, what we want to be able to do is sell these as materials on the auction house, and they'll fetch a pretty penny for all the leather workers that are out there that need it. Very cool. Oh gosh, I really do love this zone. I really have missed. Well, look at that missed actually, that particular one. Whoops, so now I've drawn aggro because I accidentally threw a fireball at him, which pulled him off the crash survivor there. And that meant that we got the aggro, and because it unfortunately wasn't the frostbolt, because that missed, and we'll do another skin there, it meant that the mob came straight to us really fast. Now, of course, I'm going to use my frost nova here to root him in place, and then we'll be able to do some casting from a safe distance. Safe difference. Gosh, I really need to have a coffee today. There we go. And of course we don't mind killing these mobs because of our skinning. Gosh, that's fast. That's fantastic. Oh, there's a toad. Let's kill that just in case it counts for the achievement. and a snake definitely will count for the pest achievement. So if we open our achievements tab, go to the general area, and we go to, where is it? Pest control. There we go, snake and rat, both of them, and spider and roach. All of those have been ticked off, so don't forget to do those. I knew I saw a copper node over here somewhere. Definitely don't want to let these go by. Once again, all money for jam, basically, selling those materials on the auction house. Alright, 3 of 5 survived. Let's throw a frostbolt his way. Now, we got aggro straight away, but you can see he's coming at us nice and slow. Slow enough, in fact, for us to have got off a couple of casts, and we can kill him well before he gets to give us a skin. But he also gave us some crocolisk meat. So this is another thing that hasn't really dropped much yet. Some mobs do drop meat. Now, again, if we go into our professions tab and, have a look at cooking. Let's have a look. Do we have anything that we can use crocolisk meat? No, we've got boar meat and wolf meat and spider legs, eggs. Unfortunately, we don't have any recipes with crocolisk meat, but that doesn't mean that we won't get any. So we're going to definitely hang on to that slab of meat, because we'll probably learn a crocolisk recipe so we can cook up stuff with that meat later. Definitely don't sell it. And of course, if you aren't a cook, then you'll want to be selling that on the auction house as usual, because it's basically a crafting material for other cooks. Oh, and more meat. So these are great mobs, aren't they? Because they're giving us XP, they're giving us meat, and they're giving us skins. We like that. Alright, there we go. All done. And now we have to return to Liam Greymane. There he is, just south of us, rather. Croak. The frog, the toad croaked it. Get it? Get it? Oh dear. Yep, definitely needing some coffee today, because my sense of humour is terrible. Anyway. Alright, so we're starting to get a sense of how big the open wide world is. You can see there way off into the horizon. It's huge.
For Gilneas.
Here we go. What do we do? Choose our reward. We want to get the most expensive one. 48 copper versus 1 silver, 15 copper. We'll take that one. Thanks very much. Alright, so he's saying the Forsaken are right on our heels, and the Ogres are trying to flank us. They're servants of the Etin Karoth, the meanest, most destructive force in all of Gilneas. If we can bait Karoth into charging the Forsaken's forward force, we should be able to cover our retreat and buy some time. The only way this can work is if we make Karoth furious. So that's the big giant. Won't be enough to just kill his minions. We need to swipe his most prized possession, a tiger-skinned banner. Okay, so we need to kill 4 ogre minions and obtain Karoth's banner in Karoth's den. So let's see on the map where that is, over here somewhere. So obviously there's going to be a cave or something like that up this path, I'd imagine. Whenever you see a sort of sign like this, it normally means it's a road leading to somewhere. And there we go, Karoth's den, and that should discover in a minute. There we go, discovered Karoth's den. And if we have a look on here, you can see actually a whole bunch of stuff has opened up now. The Blackwalled there, that's the area that we're going to be questing into once we've dealt with this quest along the road with these problems that we're facing at the moment. We will end up in the Blackwalled there. It's really cool. Alright, so here we are, some ogres for the first time in the game. These ones are single-headed ogres. In WoW you can get double-headed ones. They're quite funny. Rah! They say stuff like me smash. They're not the smartest. Sandwich in the picnic basket, if you know what I mean. But lots of fun all the same, because hey, at the end of the day, WoW is about having fun. It's about being very stylized. I mean, the last thing I want to do at the end of a big day of work is come back to an MMO that feels like work. I definitely want to feel like I'm having an adventure, having fun, seeing new cool things. You can see that down there is the Blackwalled. All of those trees there, that's the top of the trees. That is that, whoops, where are we? Here we go. That's that whole Blackwalled sort of swampy, marshy area down in there, like a forest. Alright, now be careful when there's 2 together. If we pull one, we'll probably pull the other one, so you want to make sure that you wait until there's a bit of a gap between the 2. And we'll Frost Nova him to root him and finish him off. Because remember too that Frost Nova doesn't just do rooting, it also does some damage. But of course now it's on cooldown, so I can't use it. But we got a couple of nice hits there. I don't know if they critted or not, but we managed to finish him off pretty quickly, so that was good. And while our arcane missiles are still up, we'll use them, even though I should have probably opened with a frostbolt. We may be able to slow him down before he gets too close to us, rather. There we go, that's 4 of 4. And now we're trying to find the... what are we trying to find? The banner. Alright, that looks like it's up there glowing away. Frost Nova, to stick him to the ground basically. Get out of his melee range so he can't do any damage to us. Got some linen cloth there. Now I can see we've got another copper node, so you can see they're quite plentiful. Especially in a zone that is a little bit quiet, of course, like this one is, because most players have played through this now. We're only going to get sort of new players coming through here, really, or people who are re-rolling. Oh, there is Karoth the Hillbreaker. He's one ugly son of a gun. Level 12 elite, and he's got 7,500 hit points to our 172. We don't want to go near him, but we do want this banner. So let's steal that. You stay away from me. And you can see that the banner is actually in our bag there, a quest item. He's saying, "You puny thief, Karoth find you, Karoth smash your face in." Yep, that's right, I'm sure you will. Let's make ourselves a bandage so that we free up a bag space with that linen cloth we got in there. Oh, there's a couple. No, there we go, it was just lagged a bit. Looks like we have to head back to Liam Greymane now and take the banner back. Whoops, and we've got some respawns. Oh gosh, and he aggroed on us straight away. He's got quite a large aggro radius. Freeze him in place so he can't hurt us. Wow, he's taking a bit... okay, he's level 8, he's a little bit higher. That's why he took a bit more to kill. Oh, bit of a front spin there, or front flip rather. Oh, and we didn't loot this guy before. Terrible. Nice long range on the frostbolt as well. You can see it's a 35-yard range. So we should be able to kill these guys well before they get to us. There we go. Right, back to Prince Liam with our stolen banner. No doubt we're going to wave it in his face and get him angry. And use that to our advantage to fend off the Forsaken, I'd imagine.
For my people.
Alright, you definitely got the guy angry. Let's hope this works. Just in time, Seraphis.
Here come the Forsaken.
Here come the Forsaken. Oh, we've got some new players that have zoned in, phased in.
Come no further, Forsaken scum.
Our carriage drivers. Oh,
Clan, I expel you from our ancestral land.
yikes. Worthless mongrel, I will order our outhouses cleaned with this rag you call a banner. Okay, so it looks like we're dumping the ogre in the poop, basically. So these Forsaken people seem to think that the ogre has done something bad, so we've tricked them. Here comes the ogre. Corpse men, take the ogre's banner. Okay, so we've incited these guys to fight each other. And it looks like the ogre's cleaning them out. Let's entertain ourselves while we watch. And it's all done. Thank you very much, Mr. Ogre. And you can see, by the way, at the moment he's got a green name above his head, which means currently he's friendly to us, so we can't attack him. It's just the way it goes normally in scripted events. Alright, Stormglen. Our carriage drivers were told to regroup in the fishing town of Stormglen. Our scouts report there may be shelter and supplies to be found there. Meet Gwen Armstead there. She'll be in charge of taking care of our people. Alright. So it looks like we have to make our way forward. Yep, so actually it's not the Blackwold. I forgot rather that Stormglen is the next little town we come to, and that actually sits here just right next to the Blackwold, and I think it has us being sent into the Blackwold to do questing. Anyway, bit of a walk for us. So let's also keep an eye out for copper nodes. Let's use our racial ability, Dark Flight, so we just get there a little bit faster. Very cool, isn't it? Look at the colour palette here. It's all dark and gloomy and black we can see down there. Oh, we can see we've got some ghosties down there, some howling banshees. looks all very doomy and gloomy. And that looks like Stormglen up ahead in the distance. What's over the side here? Oh, we've hit the coastline. Now, of course, if we were trained for fishing, we'd be able to hop down to the water's edge there and do some fishing. Hopefully, because I was kind of hoping that there would be some in Duskhaven. There were no fishing trainers to be found unless they got swallowed up when the sea came up and swallowed the town. Hopefully in this town there are some fishing trainers, because I'm a huge fan of fishing. I know it's weird, but I really want to get that going, because you get some great buffs if you do train up fishing. Okay, that signifies that the map has opened up. If we have a look, there you go, you can see Stormglen Village down there now. Alright, we've got the profession trainer. Let's see if we can level up any mining. No, 51 is our skill, we need 65.
That's enough gabbing for me today.
Not quite enough. Skinning, that won't be, it's 22 out of 90. We've got our banker here.
Open for business.
Is there anything we need to pop into the bank? We'll put the meat in the bank, because we may use that later. Leather scraps, because they'll go on the auction house, and light leather, they will also go on the auction house. Rough stone, that can definitely go in there. We'll keep the copper ore out in our bags at the moment, because we may find ourselves a forge. Hopefully there's one up ahead in the city, or rather in the town. We also need to find ourselves a general vendor so we can sell our junk. Let's see if we've got any mage skills that we can train. No, level 12 is the next one. Now, keeping a lookout for a forge, so we'll just go the back way. Oh, look at that! Just as well I came around here. So up we come, the smelting menu, and we can create 13 copper bars. Yum, yum, yum. Money, money, money. That's basically what it is. And you can see once again there, every couple or 3 now, or in this case 4. How many? 5. Okay, so 4. Now, no, that took 5 copper bars to basically trigger a skill increase. So that's because this skill is green. We really need to we really need to train up some more. Excuse me as I slurp on my tea. Spider, let's kill that just in case. Once again for the achievements. Got rogue trainers, hunter trainers. And it looks like the mayor is inside this building, I'd say. And all the survivors have made it. Well, most of them have made it here. Hello.
What's your story?
Alright, so she's saying it's too bad the Forsaken are still working their way inland, but this will make a fine place to rest. Oh, now by the way, just in case you're wondering, that is a druid. There's a Worgen druid, and they have cat form, and that's why that druid looks like a cat and not like a Worgen. So being a Worgen druid is pretty cool, because of course a druid has a bunch of different forms. You've got cat, you've got bear, you've got your tree of life, you've got a swimming form, and of course you've also got human and Worgen form. So it's really, really cool if you are a druid in this game and you're a Worgen at the same time. Alright, she's saying the other half of the town is overrun with spiders. I've asked the villagers to stay away from that area. Perhaps you'd like to lend a hand, and we have to kill 6 vile brood skitterers. While we're here, by the way, let's go to the general goods vendor and empty our bags. We'll use Salamatic to get rid of all the junk, and this particular chest piece here that we couldn't use. Let's also make some bandages to get rid of the linen cloth out of our bags, and of course to raise our first aid skill. Want to do that as often as possible. We'll get you in a minute, Lorna. Let's make sure there's nobody up here. We've got a priest trainer up there.
What is it?
Right, what does she want? She wants 6 old journal pages. If you find enough of the pages, I might be able to piece together what happened here after the curse broke out. Well, that could be interesting. Alright, so we have to find pages and spiders, and you can see once again the quest map actually just shows us exactly where we need to go. So it's nice and easy. Now where else can we pop to, just in case we can find ourselves either a fishing trainer or something. Right, looks like there's a piece of a journal page up here, so you can see the piece of paper on the ground glowing with sparkles. That means, there we go, 1 of 6, and you hover over it, it says it's a quest item, an old journal page. Excuse me, there's another one. Hello, Warlock Trainer.
Ain't you a chipper looking one?
Ain't you a chipper looking one? Yes, we are. Oh, that's no good. Look, you can kill a wary mastiff. We don't want to kill the dog. That'd be horrible. Okay, these spiders are fairly large. Yep, that would be why there's nobody down this end of town, I'd imagine. If you came across one of these in real life, you would probably wet your pants. Anyway. Oh, 2 health left on it. We'll give it a whack with our stick. There we go. Now, you can't actually skin spiders in WoW, just in case you didn't know. You really need mobs that have fur, pretty much. I don't think you can skin feathered mobs either. Alright, so that was another journal page. You can see there's lots of pages lying around. It's probably random as to what pages get picked for the quest. Now you may be wondering too, why is there a bunch of, or rather why are, get your grammar right Sambo, why are there a bunch of gravestones here? This will be a resurrection point. I'd say if we die when we release our corpse, this is where you turn up. I've just spotted something over in the background. Look at that. Oh, happy day. Oh, joy. It's a fishing trainer. Wilsey Bottomtooth.
What can I do for you?
You can teach us apprentice fishing. Yes, there we go. We now have fishing. I'm super happy. Everyone's going, oh God, not fishing. Yes, it's fishing. Let's pop that down onto our skill bar down there because we're going to need that to fish. You know what that means, folks. We're going to interrupt this quest line here to go get ourselves a fishing rod, and we're going to have a look at fishing and see what it's like. Hello, there's a hunter.
Our fates are intertwined.
Now, where was that general goods vendor? I'm pretty sure it was in this building.
The beast in me hungers.
Saying hello to everybody left, right and centre, aren't I? Oh, now this is another good point. We need to make our hearthstone at this new inn, so we'll do that, because of course the other inn doesn't exist anymore. So yeah, that would have been bad. Anyway.
You've come to the right spot, you have.
Good, look at that. That's all you need, folks. A fishing pole. We'll put that in our bags, and we will be equipping and using that, and we'll set up a new equipment set. I'll show you how to do that in a second. If you want to, when you pick up fishing, by the way, you can buy yourselves one of these, which is a shiny bauble. Only costs 45 copper, and you go basically apply it to your fishing role. It's like an enchant, and that increases your fishing by 25 for 10 minutes. So at the moment, if we look at our professions, the only honest
merchant's a Gilnean merchant.
It's currently 1 of 75. We won't bother with it at the moment. We'll see how we go fishing with a 1 skill. Different bodies of water require differing amounts of skill. So, for example, in a higher level zone, you may need, minimum of level, 50 fishing in order to be able to catch fish. You can still actually fish in the higher level waters. You'll get another page there. But your chances of actually catching a fish are severely reduced, and what you'll do generally is catch junk. So we'll explain that in a minute, the way that fishing works in terms of skill. But let's get ourselves down to the water's edge. Oh joy, oh joy, oh joy, oh joy. This is fun, I love it. Alright, so first things first, what we want to do is open our bags and equip a fishing pole. So if you take a look, I'll zoom right in. There you go, you can see that we have our staff. Alright, there it is. Let's now equip the fishing pole, and you'll see that, there we go. So now we've got a fishing pole strung across our back. And there it is. Now, it is actually a melee weapon, by the way. It does 1.1 damage per second. So you can get, if you get attacked by anything silly while you're fishing, you can actually use the pole to fight back. Alright, so now I've got that fishing gear equipped. What I can do is I can go new set, and I'm going to choose the fishing pole as an icon, and I'm going to name this, obviously, fishing. There we go. Click OK. And now it's going to be really easy for me to swap between normal and fishing. Equip. Now, one other thing I didn't tell you guys before is you can actually drag these icons to your hotbar. So let's do that. So if you've got room in your hotbar, what you can do is you can just have these, and there we go. You don't have to open bags, you don't have to do anything. You just click on your hotbar and toggle between fishing and normal, and they're labeled as well. Let's put them down the side there. Right, and so how do you fish? Well, that's easy. As long as you're near a body of water, you click on the fishing icon, and there we go. And we have a bobble in the water, and as you can, oh, that's changed. The icon's changed. You hover your mouse over the fishing bobber in the water, and when it splashes, you right click. So it's a bit of a timing game. You can listen as well. There we go, right click on that, and that's how you collect something. That's how you actually fish. Now, you'll notice if I pop this up in our bags here, we got a grey item, and it's junk. And it says there, this is a miscellaneous grey item, that's junk. That's because our fishing skill is pretty low. So the higher your fishing skill, the more chance you have when you actually do get a fish, when you do pull something up, the higher the chance it is of being an actual fish. Now, in the old days, you could actually spend all your time pulling up nothing, but now you pretty much get something every time, and basically the skill dictates whether that item that you pull up is junk or a fish. So we'll have another go here. You can see it basically goes for 20 seconds, and at any time in between that 20 seconds it'll splash. There we go. Right click on it when it does, and we've got ourselves an empty clam. Now there's all the time, by the way, you can see our skill in fishing has increased to 2, increased to 3. If we go into our professions window, you can see it increasing here as well. You might say to me, well, what's the point of pulling these things up? As you can see, they're junk, so you can sell them. It's money for jam. And of course, it's nice and relaxing fishing as well. Now I'll show you a couple of other tricks with the outfitter in a moment. Empty bottle of rum. There we go. If we equip our fishing set, there we go, you can, for example, later on in the game get clothes that add to fishing bonuses, so you may want to wear them. In this case, I'm going to use the example of when I'm fishing, I don't want to see my cape. I want to take it off. So what I do is I click on the little icon here next to the slider, next to my cape, and one of the options here is place in bag. So I'm going to do that. And you can see that that's gone into my bags, and you can see now on my back I don't have a cape. Now I'm going to save this as fishing. Yes, there we go. Now we get rid of everything, and because we've put these on the hotbar at the side there, now let's get this out of the way. There we go, down the bottom right here. If I click on normal, there you go, you can see the cape appears and my staff, and I'm all ready to fight. If I click on fishing, I can be styly about it and not have any cape if I wish. Alright, nice and easy. Now another thing you might notice too is that I've got this funny looking thing over here halfway down the left side. I do have an add-on, and I'll talk about that in a minute once we've finished this cast. What am I going to catch? Some withered kelp. Oh, we don't have any fish yet. Anyway, what I have is a add-on called Fishing Buddy. Now, I'll put a link to this down in the doobly-doo thing below. Let's click on that. And basically, it does a whole bunch of things. It's very cool. For a start, it will automatically turn on a skill called Find Fish if you have that skill. We don't have it at the moment, but it acts very much like finding copper veins. You'll see pools of fish come up on your mini-map, so that's very cool. It will activate that automatically. It'll drink Captain Rumsey's Rum Lager if you've got any in your bags, because that is a drink that actually gives you a fishing buff, and we'll get that later on. What do we got here? Pets. We can pull out a particular pet, which is very cool. Here's the list of pets that I have. So for example, I can set this to Pandaren Monk, and that means every time I fish, I'll automatically have our little Pandaren Monk companion. Let's turn that on, and we can automatically have it choose our equipment manager fishing set, so we don't even have to manually choose it, which is great. So what I'm going to do is we'll go back here and we'll set our equipment manager back to normal. There we go, and we'll see what the fishing manager does in terms of being able to change our cloak and changing the equipment set all on itself. We can show new fish, sort by the number of fish caught. What else can we do here? Oh, there's a thing called easy casting, which will auto loot. We've got a thing here where we can show on the fish watcher the elapsed time, so in other words how long we've spent in that fishing mode, if you like. We can show percentages for the amount of fish caught, and I'll show you that in a second, our current skill level and the current zone that we're in. So let's do all of that, and yeah, it does that little screw up thing there. I'm not too sure why, but it's a little bit of a bug that I seem to get. Anyway, let's just, for example, equip our fishing rod here. There we go, and you can see, look at that, it's automatically done a bunch of stuff. It automatically pulled out the Pandaren Monk. Hello. And you can see down here it's activated a timer, and it says we're in Gilneas, and it actually gives us percentages here of how many fish we've caught and what our skill is. Let's have a look. Is that updating correctly? Because sometimes the add-on bugs out. Let's actually do a fish. Click on the fishing icon. The old Pandaren monk doing his kung fu karate routine there. It's always nice to have a buddy while you're fishing. Right, so we're getting lots and lots of things. We're up to level 7 in fishing, but we're getting junk still. Now, one of the options I turned on there was called Easy Cast. And what it does basically is, excuse me, there's a number of options. It'll say here, for example, Easy Lures. It'll actually put a lure or apply a lure to your fishing pole before you start. If you haven't got one, you can turn that on. It allows us to fish and cast while we're mounted. We don't have any mounts, of course, at this point. It'll also open quest items for it, but the main thing what it will do is enable double right-click casting. And this one's pretty cool. Now let's see what other options we've got here, just to make sure I've got everything on. Yep, that looks good. Double right-click casting means I don't actually even have to click on the fishing button. I can just put my cursor out there on the water and go tap, tap. There you go, double right-click, and it automatically fishes. So it's very, very cool. But you can see here too, this is going to start keeping a track so we can start seeing exactly how well we're doing with our fishing. All these stats down the side, and they do disappear when we unequip our fishing gear, by the way. Right, so double right clicking. We've got another empty rum bottle there. Hopefully, there you go. It is random how long you have to wait for the fishing. Another empty rum bottle. Also, what else is random, by the way, is, now I'm just going to turn off the easy casting there. Just for me, I actually prefer to click the button for some weird reason. That's just me. Is everything else okay? Yep, we won't bring out the Pandaren monk. Oh, no, actually, we will leave him. Why not? There we go. Clicking on fishing, you'll see that where the bobber lands is actually random as well. So later on, what we'll come across are actual fishing pools, and we want to be fishing in those because you can actually fish up special things, and there's lots of achievements, and you can actually fish up items as well, green items with stats that you can only get from pools. But when you're trying to aim for one, quite often you have to cast a few times, and if you need to recast, you can see there, you just click the button again. You can see it's randomly dropping in the water. So sometimes you have to do it a couple of times to get your aim exactly where you want if you are aiming for a pool actually on the water's surface. Right, so I can see that we're not actually getting any fish, so our skill is probably way too low. Now, one of the pieces of information you can see down the left-hand side, or you may not be able to see it on the YouTube video, is it says Gilneas 25 and then a 19%. Now, what that's saying is that this particular body of water, its fishing skill, its ideal fishing level is 25. Now, of course, if we bring up our professions window, we can have a look and we see that we are only up to 11. And the little percentage that it's got beside it there means it's Gilneas, it's 25 skill. We've got a 19% chance of actually getting a fish. So only 1 in every 5 casts will actually catch a fish, and it, of course, that could also mean 2 out of every 10. It doesn't necessarily mean 1 out of every 5. It's just a percentage. But you should see that percentage go up as our fishing skill increases. Yep, so now we've got a 23% chance. Let's have another fish. 23% chance of catching the fish, so that should keep going up. Yeah, fishy, fishy, fishy. Come on, let us actually get one, because I think actually I'm not sure if we've got any fish recipes in our bags. There we go, now it's at 27%, we've got some tangled line. So what I should probably do, and we'll do it in the next episode, is we should go back to that general goods vendor and actually pick up a fishing bauble, the shiny bauble, because we can put that on the end of our lure, and that will increase our fishing skill, and obviously increase our chances of actually catching a fish. So let's switch over to our normal there you can see you can do it on the move. You don't have to be standing still. Straight away, with having your outfits on the hotbar, it makes it very, very easy to switch between them. Alright, so we've got the old journal pages. It looks like there's a whole bunch of other players here. There's a warlock over there. You won't have seen a warlock in the game yet. You can see they've got their little minion, we call it a blueberry. There we go, and that blueberry is the Void Walker, which is basically a warlock pet. Allows it to, that's like a tank pet, which keeps the aggro off the squishy warlock, although warlocks aren't as squishy as us mages, having said that. Alright, we'll let them clean up the spiders. There should be some back here. Running a bit over time. We might actually have to do the spiders in the next episode. And see that, we've got that green, oh look at that, level 10, we've earned an achievement, good lord, all sorts of funny things happening all at once. You've earned your first talent point, click here to choose your talents, we'll get to that in a minute, but there we go, a level 10, we've got ourselves 10 achievement points, congratulations to us. What I was going to say, that spider, you would have seen that there was a sort of grey-green cloud appear on the top of us, and there was a funny noise. That means that we got poisoned, so we got dotted up, and next time that happens, we'll have a look. We'll have an actual debuff on us, which is basically a damage over time poison debuff. Now, very, very important, we've got lots to talk about now in the next episode, because you see we've reached level 10, we've got a new talent point available, we've got a new feature unlocked called Talents, and another new feature unlocked called Battlegrounds. So there's a lot to talk about there. We will do that in the next episode. Let's go hand in the journal pages first, and then we'll wrap this one up. How exciting. I don't think we've got any new skills. Let's have a look at our abilities here. Nothing is glowing, so no, nothing to get, although I think it's level... What is the next one? Level 18 there. Level 12, Evocation. We'll talk about that once we get it. That's a very important skill for a mage to have. Let's hand this one into Lorna Crowley, the journal pages. There we go, all done. We'll go to the general goods vendor, and by the way, this is where all the junk from fishing is going to get sold. So we can see there, it totals it all up. Our Sellomatic actually totals it up in the chat log. We earned 2 silver, 89 copper, so nearly 3 silver just from all the junk from that fishing. So well worth it. Now, where was that banker as well? I need to put some copper ore in the bank because it's taking up space in our bags. I think they were around... No, where were they? Over here. Banker, there it is.
How may I help you?
So we'll pop those copper bars in there.
The only honest merchant's a Gilnean merchant.
That's right. So there we have it, folks. I hope you enjoyed that episode as we make our journey away from the old Duskhaven. There is no more. Look at that on the map. There just isn't any Duskhaven anymore, and we've come from the Greymane Manor up there, heading southeast as we come towards Stormglen Village and carry on our adventure as a Worgen. So I certainly hope you join me next time, and of course in the meantime it's me, Sambo, and Seraphis, our Worgen mage, saying take care, have a great day, and there you go, wave, bye bye.